Folks, welcome to Werewolf Radar, the world's premier paranormal preparedness podcast. My name's Jordan Dahl.
I am Nate Bowman.
I am Roger Norquist.
Today's episode of Werewolf Radar is brought to you by Monstroko Gardens presents Dancing Sunflower with Shades. Discovered in a crater following a total eclipse of the sun, this cool plant-based dude reacts enthusiastically to speech, music, and drops of human blood. Is it alive? You tell us. Grow one today. Dancing Sunflower with Shades by Monstroko. What the fuck?
I'm doing it with us. Go to our Instagram and share photos of you growing your dancing sunflower with shades with mine. I put them inside.
Mm-hmm.
What's weird is they dance at night when there's no sound.
Infrasound is the current theory. They're hearing sounds that you don't hear. The approaching of some great cataclysm, perhaps.
Also, if you happen to be Rick Moranis and have a particular song you want to sing to one of these,
they'll dance to it. They will, at a certain point, they'll overgrow the pot and you have to put them into another pot, and then you'll probably want to put them down in the basement because you're going to have to start feeding them, and they will only eat Rick Moranis. Or, in a pinch, Steve Martin.
I'm trying to grow one hydroponically.
A Steve Martin?
That way I always have a constant supply of Steve Martins to feed the dancing sunflower with shades. But
Right.
my Steve Martin's not
sense.
rooting. I don't think this is a different podcast, but I'm liking it.
You'll want to get a Martin short to keep it company.
right? It's a Three Amigos situation.
But here's the thing: you don't want to get a Chevy Chase. It's not what it once was. Back in the 80s, it was good to keep them all together. Now you're just asking for trouble.
Nothing but trouble.
Nothing but trouble, if you will, folks. I would like to go first.
Okay.
Bring
Take
to me the
that
speaking skull. Oh, here it is. It's lowering down from above onto my head, Darth Vader style, and onto my whole segment in this voice. No, I can't do that. I'm taking it off. I can't do that. I can't sustain that for the whole thing. I'm just going to let it hover above my head. We got news. We got UFO news.
Oh, the ticker just flashed. I'm excited.
The UFO radar, I went up and I checked it. I went out to the observatory that we built, the lead observatory, to protect us from cosmic rays and stuff. And I checked the UFO ping and we got one. We got a big one. Happened about 2 days ago. It actually happened in like 1950 something, but we'll get to that. This was being reported by a few places as a paper that was leaked, declassified, if you will, from the CIA, being reported by the dailymail.co.uk, which, as we know, a tremendous, reliable source for all things true and wonderful. Take this with a grain of salt. This is like getting a newspaper article from the National Enquirer, but I figured who better? So this is from the Daily Mail. According to a report, a bone-chilling document has been declassified by the CIA that has exposed an alleged massacre by aliens from a crashed UFO who turned an entire military unit into stone.
All right, this seems on the up and up.
How have we not heard about this? Oh, because of the declassification, obviously. Wild.
So, I'm going to go ahead and read the document because a lot of this is going over the document and what it contains and just kind of rehashing that. And I would rather you guys see it and read it with me firsthand. Would you like to see it? I love that.
Let me give you the power to share. I did not yet. That's on me.
Okay.
I better be whipped. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge.
By Whipping Tom, the randiest perv in all of pre-Gaslight London.
Anyway, patreon.com/werewolf radar. Listen to the Grave Nugget about one Whipping Tom.
One one
What?
whimsical sex pest.
Not one. There were multiple people given
Yeah.
this name.
Spoilers,
Like I
Nate.
said, bit of a Blue Beetle situation. Okay, so this is the document.
He's a bit of a Ted Cord.
Oops. Yeah, if you will. This is document 199 of 54 underscore hash underscore comma F FBIS. Doc number 0001030001. Classified. It has been unclassified. 3A PMU. Serial number AU 300 315 2893. Pass. Attention, BBC SD. Pound country. Russia International. Subject. Paper reports alleged evidence on mishap involving UFO. Source. Kiev, Holos, Ukrainian, 27 March 93. Okay, so it's not the 50s. This is from the 90s they got this report.
Did you get that, all our hacker friends out there?
Yeah, all of our Linux users are typing it in and they'll see
Absolutely.
the image soon.
Great.
Hack the planet.
Here's the text. A reprint from the newspaper Ternopil Vechirny, titled Cosmic Revenge.
Nice.
Rips.
Wait,
Yeah.
so they
Yeah,
came here with a purpose.
No. Stay tuned. But it is, yeah, they're editorializing a little bit. Cosmic Revenge is definitely the way they needed to go. They got to move some papers here.
I think it causes that fear, but also when you read the article, and this is not, I haven't read anything on it. It's like, it's time for cosmic revenge, fellow humans.
Yeah. It feels like there's something of the death wish about it. Like Charles Bronson is gonna go kick some alien ass. Revenge makes a great story. People love a revenge story. Anyway, here it comes. Get ready for it now. Text. After Mikhail Gorbachev dissolved in 1991.
Remember when he just dissolved like water hitting sugar in 1991?
No. He was sentenced to be dissolved in pickle juice and vodka. I mean, if you gotta go.
Just melted away.
That's so funny. The KGB, Top Secret Intelligence Administration, a lot of material from that department found their way abroad, in particular to the CIA, as was reported by the authoritative magazine Canadian Weekly World News.
The Canadian version of the Daily Mail.
Yeah.
No, it's the Canadian version of Weekly World News.
Yeah, they got Bat Lad, eh?
Yeah.
Terrible hack joke. U.S. intelligence obtained a 255-page file on the attack by a UFO on a military unit in Siberia. The file contains not only many documentary photographs and drawings, which we do not have access to, unless somebody wants to Google UFO Project Revenge pictures.
I'm looking it up right now.
Cosmic Revenge pictures maybe would help. Anyway, photographs and drawings, but also testimonies by actual participants in the events. One of the CIA representatives referred to this case as, quote, a horrific picture of revenge on the part of extraterrestrial creatures, a picture that makes one's blood freeze. In more ways than one. Boy, you don't know the half of it, CIA representative. According to the KGB materials, a quite low-flying spaceship in the shape of a saucer appeared above a military unit that was conducting routine training maneuvers. For unknown reasons, somebody unexpectedly launched a surface-to-air missile and hit the UFO. It fell to Earth not far away, and 5 short humanoids with large heads and large black eyes emerged from it. Yeah, we know them. It's Steve Buscemi, everyone. No, I'm kidding. These are Greys, I believe. It is stated in the testimonies by the 2 soldiers who remained alive that after freeing themselves from the debris, the aliens came close together and then, quote, merged into a single object that acquired a spherical shape, unquote. That object began to buzz and hiss sharply and then became brilliant white. In a few seconds, the spheres grew much bigger and exploded by flaring up with an extremely bright light. At that very instant, 23 soldiers who had watched the phenomenon turned into stone poles. Only 2 soldiers who stood in the shade and were less exposed to the luminous explosion survived. The KGB report goes on to say that the remains of the UFO and the, quote, petrified soldiers were transferred to a secret scientific research institution near Moscow. Specialists assume that a source of energy that is still unknown to Earthlings instantly changed the structure of the soldiers' living organisms, having transformed it into a substance whose molecular composition is no different from that of limestone.
That's a lot of change.
A CIA representative stated, quote, if the KGB file corresponds to reality, this is an extremely menacing case. The aliens possess such weapons and technology that go beyond all our assumptions, and they can stand up for themselves if attacked.
Well, bad news, everyone. No one can find these photos.
Outside of more government gobbledygook and numbers that will not be as effective here. in building a mood. That is the end of the document, the so-called a released CIA document. A CIA representative has come forward and said that this document was not made by the CIA. So that does in fact kind of support the claim here that this was a KGB document that came into possession of the CIA. The agency, this is again from the Daily Mail, the agency added that it's an extremely menacing case, proved the aliens who visited Earth, blah, 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 the thing we just read. The unearthed document, declassified in 2000, was recently the topic of the AI or Evil podcast. Hey, shout out AI or Evil. Please shout us out back. Where host
Do it
Josh
or
Hooper
else.
revealed that 2 of the soldiers at the UFO crash site actually survived the encounter. The petrified soldiers could not be saved. An even more concerning detail of the CIA file is the description of the aliens reportedly involved in the massacre. Not really very scary. That's kind of as we know them to be. Subject of the document states paper reports alleged evidence on mishap involving UFO. This is clearly written by AI, I think. Yeah, it's just rehashing everything that is in the it's just rehashing everything that is in the paper itself. So that is the document. Of course, Reddit is having a heyday with it. They're like, it's fake. This is fake. You're fake. This is all stupid. Go away. What do you guys think?
Oh, there's so... Go on, Nate. You first.
Actually, if you guys could both do it at the same time.
Okay. Well, I think that
1, 2, 3.
you have to remember that operations for both Russia and America played into disinformation greatly. Nate didn't keep going, so now I feel like I have to keep going with
Nate's
this
short
stuff.
and sweet. Nate, you think they have some kind of gun?
A Medusa gun.
Medusa gun made from Medusa's eyes. That's
I think that those
clearly.
2 soldiers probably had shields that were mirrors.
Interesting. Maybe they had beautiful shining locks that protected them or something.
I think that we have a case of disinformation from Russia. If this is a KGB file, I think they are purposely making a file that is all like, we did find aliens actually, and they turned our soldiers to stone, and they just like released this into there, and like everyone in Russia knows this is fake intelligence wise.
And
But when the Americans pick it up, they go,
they were like,
what?
yeah.
That's
My
my theory. Disinformation.
The Russians have got the Medusa gun.
We've got to find a counteraction.
We gotta find who killed Medusa?
Perseus.
We gotta find the Perseus. Launch Perseus missiles.
I couldn't find pictures
I
of.
would not be surprised that we have Perseus Mysticals.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't find any photos of it. All I find is like this one here that I think was shared in part of it. But yeah, this, I think if there were photos of this, it got lost to time.
Yeah, that's the Weekly World News interpretation of it.
These must be the aliens that merged into the ball.
Oh, interesting. That looks much different than the ones we described. What's on his nose? It honestly looks like a jet fighter's helmet.
A little bit, or a gonzo type alien.
Sure. Very strange. Here's my hot take.
Wait, let me put the hot take banner on. Okay.
Let's say this happened.
Okay.
Somebody shooting at a UFO with a rocket-propelled grenade sounds accurate. That sounds panicky. It sounds stupid. It sounds like something one of my fellow men would do.
1987, one of the heights of the Cold War.
People, the aliens surviving such a crash seems less convincing to me, though. I suppose that they would have, just
safety.
Just as they have space age, or not space age, like futuristic, space age from the 60s. Like they have futuristic, propulsion methods. I also assume they would have futuristic safety.
Yeah.
Safety
protocols and provisions. I assume truly in the future crashes are still going to happen, so you need like the foam from Demolition Man, and it sprays and you kind of like soak up in it versus you hit hard.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
So I can see them also surviving it. I'm on board.
Doing this flash teleportation thing, I'll buy that. I don't think it's a weapon. I think that they were like, this is emergency procedures. We need to all join hands and activate our emergency teleportation beacons or whatever. And, if you're an organic life form, you do not want to get caught in that flash. And that's what happened. I think they're painting it as an attack or revenge. Yes. I think they were just escaping, and he shouldn't have shot them down. Also, it's hard for me to believe that this futuristic craft wouldn't have some sort of once again a safety protocol for what's essentially the creatures on the planet shooting one of their rocks at it.
That's what I was gonna say. Like they should have a rock defense.
But maybe they just got caught by surprise. It was an accident, just as they say. That's fair. My hot take.
Definitely possible.
What's your hot take, Nate? What happened?
My hot take is that
Medusa got
so these aliens, they came down and they were like, we've seen that one of your Chinese leaders was buried with thousands of clay men, and we would like to make you some of those.
You think this was like kind of a peace offering?
Yeah, it was a real Emperor Qin situation.
Yeah. They were confused by the terracotta warriors of the Qin dynasty. And
first emperor, baby.
That's the type of shit that they're really into. They're like, they do terracotta statue? We do terracotta statues. Here's some for free. A parting gift, if you will. From your creature friends. And then humanity misinterpreted it a la Mars Attacks.
Yeah, no, we thought that it was more of a Philadelphia experiment, right. But it was terracotta wars.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, so far we have Government snow job.
Mm-hmm.
Alien intergalactic misunderstanding.
Yep.
And caught in the flash of escape teleport. Not international, intergalactic misunderstanding.
Prove us wrong, scientist.
Yeah. Prove a negative. Stupid. Now, isn't limestone made out of organic materials? Isn't it like crushed?
I do
shells and
believe
stuff?
so. Quickly to the internet. What is limestone? Limestone is a sedimentary rock primarily composed of calcium carbonate, often in the form of calcite or aragonite, and often contains fossilized remains of marine organisms. So there's a lot of organisms in that.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. That does it for my segment that I'm calling Don't Look at the Flash, aka the Medusa gun. Launch the Perseus missiles, everybody. I am allowing the skull to float back into its pocket dimension, where it will choose one of you for the next segment.
Nate, I'm going to wrap it up with horrifying tales of, and then I'm gonna not say it to keep everyone in suspense.
Run!
All right, well, I have horrifying tales of Kansas City.
Ooh, barbecue capital of the world. Come at me everywhere else.
People are going to come at you.
Kansas City's the best. You know why? They got the best burnt ends.
They do have really good burn-ins.
Have you all come across the video yet online of the guys making like barbecue beef cheeks and just squashing them in their hands like it's a fucking juicy mango or something?
I don't know if I've seen beef cheeks specifically, but
crazy. It falls apart just like I don't even know.
I've definitely watched a bunch of videos of people doing barbecue where it's just like,
you just eat it with a spoon.
I wouldn't say it's a fetish of mine, but I do enjoy watching strong men squish soft meat.
It definitely activates a carnivorous part of my brain that I'm like, yes, that would be easy to feed upon, with many fats and salts for my children.
And I don't believe we've covered the Beaman monster before.
No.
The Beaman monster?
Yeah, Beaman is a suburb of Kansas City, basically.
Oh, it's a city.
Yeah. Named for a place where some very unusual things have happened.
So what you're saying is that my original thought of a half man, half bee man going out and terrorizing the people of Kansas City is wrong.
It is wrong.
Yeah, he's not flying around stinging people. You know, like Bee Man.
Crazy. It's not crazy wrong. So this comes from FlintHillsParanormal.com. Kansas City has its share of unusual things. Scary winged flying creatures, terrifying black-eyed children, those odd folks in dark alleys that stare at you.
Move! No one needs to be living here. Am I pearl clutching or am I wrong?
No. I wrote a sketch about this very thing. Just don't live there. Don't move to the town with the shadow people.
and apparently a very ugly and odd monster of its own. The Beaman Monster.
Say it again?
I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. Beaman.
Yeah, Beaman. Yeah,
Beaman.
Beaman.
Bayman would be weird.
Sure, it's like cute or whatever. Oh, no. He's like a Beyblade. He spins around and knocks other people off of the large platform we all live on.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm a flat earther.
We've been for a while, Jordan. You finally turned. Now it's just Nate who believes in his globe.
Round. What a yesterday shape.
I believe it's a Mercator shape.
Oh, what's that?
It's just laid out.
I believe it is a cube. We call ourselves the Dumb Earth Society, and you can join us if you want. It's everyone stupid, and we love to think of the world. It's kind of a dice.
Yes.
We're on the 3 side.
And before you think we're crazy, we still circle the sun.
Yeah.
But the Earth is a 6-sided die, and we are the 3.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We are the 3.
We are the 3. 3.
This is the Dumb Earth Society chant. These are a whole bunch of them.
You'll become familiar with them over the passing weeks.
Logic, reason, integrity. These are the 3 enemies you must slay.
Anyway, the Beaman Monster.
Yeah.
This would be a creature that could give anyone a few nightmares if you should chance upon it in the woods or countryside around Kansas City. I may be stretching our area a bit, but Kansas City does not have a wall between Missouri and Kansas, so I'm counting it as Kansas.
Yeah, I think that's safe.
Yeah. So apparently what happened is in 1904, a circus, and this is a quote from them, with their clowns, hideaway acts, trained animals, cotton candy, and laughter, which gave so many small towns welcome relief from the drudgery of the normal daily life, was traveling through. The circus was loaded on a train that was chugging its way through Kansas City with its many crates and cages housing those scary lions, tigers, and bears.
Sorry, you motherfuckers have a lion in a crate?
Apparently.
It's marked as a lion. We know which crate needs the holes, okay?
Or maybe I actually wrote apples on that one. No. This one is the lion. I remember because I put apples because I was like, wouldn't it be strange if someone, and dangerous if they mixed them up? And I figured if we did it this way, if they mix it up, they'll get the right one. So remember, apples is lions, lions is apples. Good luck on the train.
That's such a good scene. As well as trained elephants and other animals, all hope. It says, hoping to awe children and audiences alike. I don't think the animals give a shit.
They were hoping that the train would crash and their enclosures would be wrecked and they can eat their masters.
Which brings me to our next point. The train crashed.
Yeah, freedom!
And all of the animals escaped.
What is the music that plays in this scene in the movie?
Like triumphant music, like at the end of The Lion King, when he slashes Scar.
I'm thinking
Yakety sax?
Okay, incredible. I'm thinking In the Jungle, The Mighty Jungle.
We all have different visions for this project.
As the animals slowly climb out of the train and run, I'm guessing amok.
I guess what I'm trying to say is go to patreon.com/werewolf radar and give us thousands of dollars so we can fund this project
Help
and make
us.
3 short films of this scene.
Achieve.
Oh no, I think we have to do a play on 32 short films about Glenn Gould.
That all has to do
32
with this.
short films about the Beaman monster.
I fucking love that. That's a great idea. Starts with an animal train crashing. Very good.
Anyway, one of the creatures that was in there for display was a supposed 12-foot tall gorilla.
Guys,
Can they even get that big?
I don't think so.
absolutely not. Frankly, I forbid it.
Legend also states that this gorilla apparently became amorous and somehow mated with a wolf.
This is a fucking.
Now that just makes sense to me. But a gorilla that's 12 feet tall.
I mean, it might have been a dire wolf. We don't know. They could have been
How does
recently
that
met.
make it? This is a sequel to Airplane. This is Airplane 3 Circus Train.
And that's how.
Oh, go and get me the 12-foot gorilla. What is this? 12-foot gorilla. This gorilla is 10 feet tall. Bring me
This
the
one-
12-foot gorilla.
This is the 12-foot gorilla. Look at how cool he is.
Is he 12 feet?
No, that's they only get like 6 foot at most.
Yeah, let's just take a second.
I do like the idea that there's like a marking on the side of a, I don't know, whatever,
Great.
a train car
Sure.
where there's like 3 feet, 5 feet, 7 feet.
I like to think it's a series of crates, smaller and smaller, bigger and bigger, next to one another, depending on which end you walk in from, and they just keep getting like 4-foot gorilla, 5 foot, 7 foot, 12-foot gorilla. That's the one you want. That's like the Beamer of the bunch, you know.
That's a King Kong sized gorilla though.
Crown jewel. I want to see. Yes, truly. I want to see the fucking. I want to see this fucking circus. This would be incredible.
It must have been.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, this 12-foot gorilla
Mates with a wolf.
fucks or gets fucked by a wolf.
You know,
it
the
doesn't.
The thing that
matter,
can happen.
which is who. But that's how the bee monster, or Beaman monster rather, is born.
It's a wolf. It's a wolf. Gorilla.
It is a gorilla wolf, yeah.
Gorilla wolf. What would you call that? What? More importantly, what would the Sci-Fi channel call that?
Well,
They can't call it a golf because that just looks like golf.
Illa.
let me show you my background real quick.
Oh, is that him?
Yeah,
Whoa! Did AI do this for us?
probably.
Cool.
No, that's too real. That's a real creature that someone made with their hands. I'm trying to find the image though to prove this theory, but it looks too real.
Well, it's what one 12-foot gorilla and a wolf made with that gorilla's hands.
You know what this means? The furries were right.
Yeah,
I guess I kind of suspected all along that there was, deep down, there was a part of me that was like, I mean, even looking at that gorilla picture that Roger had up, look at that thick king. It's a hot dude right there. He is buff.
I understand why my partner would want to leave me for them.
Also, it's so funny to me that there is like a contingent of people who you'll talk to who could be like, I could beat the shit out of a gorilla. And it's like, bro.
No. It would tear you the fuck apart.
it wouldn't even need to tear you apart. It would grab your head and drag you in such a fashion that would kill or paralyze you, and then it would play with you for fucking hours.
Look at the teeth
And
on
it'd probably
this
not
thing.
even eat you.
It would destroy you.
Look at the lats on this thing. It could eat a phone book.
Look at the trapezius on this thing.
Look at the glutes. Look at the tits on that one.
For our listeners who aren't
There was a
there's no
pretty
looking at YouTube,
a pretty good gorilla showcasing the strength and
Flexing.
speed.
Just full on monstrous.
the Beaman Monster is described as a huge, hairy beast with the head of a wolf, the body of a gorilla, but is bipedal.
Scary. Terrifying and scary. That's a scary monster. Good
It
job,
l-
Beaman.
It literally goes on to say this terrifying creature
Yeah.
has been sighted killing stock and leaving very large tracks with a stride too far apart from normal human.
Yeah.
Some described it as a wolf Bigfoot hybrid,
So
or just a large coyote or wolf.
it's Dogman.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We're in Dogman country.
We're in Dog
It's
Man
definitely a dogman situation.
country.
However, if it is the progeny of a 12-foot tall gorilla and a big ass wolf,
Yeah.
I just don't think that can
Sure.
happen though.
No. That can't. Roger, don't worry. Wolfrilla can't get you here.
Okay, I got scared.
However, Dogman is real.
there are those apparently who say the wolfish face is terrifyingly too human.
Yeah. That's a Dogman. You got yourself a Dogman. Dogman. It's a Dogman. You got a Dogman.
Apparently, a guy named Russell Holman from Sedalia tells the story of a train wreck to, I believe this is cryptid fandom. Quote, Russell Holman, 81-year-old native of Sedalia, said that the legend of the Beaman Monster can be traced back to the 1900s. His father had told him a circus train got wrecked in the year 1904. Several animals used in the circus shows were aboard. During the train crash, a 12-foot tall gorilla escaped. Many people believe that the Beaman Monster was really the offspring of the escaped gorilla. So what we have probably is one guy who said one thing that his fucked up dad told him,
Yeah, Natch.
and
Yeah,
then
telephoned.
he turned 81 and was like, that's definitely true.
It's real. I remember the gorilla. I was married to it for 48 years, right, fellas? I wish take my wife. Please, no. She's all I have.
And this is kind of funny. Mr. Holman also related to fandom that one of his uncles told him about a hunt in the late 1950s by people carrying all sorts of shotguns to catch the Beaman Monster.
Oh, you
All
go
sorts.
slug for this
There
baby,
is.
dude. I'm not taking anything lighter. I am shooting a hunk of metal into this beast.
Yeah, you want an elephant round type situation with if you're hunting the Beaman Monster. For monsters in general, like, unless it's like some sort of a flying situation, then you're gonna want the
Probably.
spread.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But
That's our paranormal
the
advice
funnier
for
part
you.
of this paragraph is definitely
we got there.
always bring a shotgun unless it flies, in which case have a rifle,
Learn from the Witcher. Have options.
and definitely always have a cloudbuster sword.
I hate to keep doing this, but there's a dude in my social media feed, at least, who is training with a cloudbuster sword until he can use it like Cloud would.
That's
That is-
not your
That
right
is
arm.
Fucking crazy.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah. Yeah. There's another guy who's doing it with a Guts sword, and he's training until he can wield it like Guts.
They're just gonna hurt themselves so bad.
Oh,
Yeah,
their
yeah.
backs are gonna be pulled. You can't, not to keep the tangent going, because we gotta go back to some paranormal. Are they
That's right.
legitimately like forged metal
Yes, it's
sword?
a big
Gee.
metal sword. And I will say that in the time I've been following the Guts guy, at least,
Yes.
he's seeing some gains. Swings it around in the woods, all CrossFit style. Takes his shirt off, gets thousands of views. Not this. Don't read too much into it. This is not most of my feed. But yeah, he's doing good work out there.
Well, when the great eclipse comes and unfortunately the calling begins, I'm happy he's on our side.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
In any case, after talking about the hunt in the 1950s, Holman further discussed how frustrated parents would try to keep their wayward children in line by telling them about this boogeyman.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Quote, Holman said, Dad said when the boys would get out of hand, they'd call out the Beaman Monster.
Uh-oh.
If he didn't behave, I never did see anything.
Oh boy. I never did see anything. I was starting to think my parents did not have the power to conjure monsters on command. But honestly, what do I know?
Damon Smith, currently 29 at the writing of this article, which I think was in 2020, recalls a terrifying experience when he was 10 years old. He was with his uncle in their pickup truck, driving down a country road when a large wolfish beast burst from the woods
Oh yeah, I've heard about this one.
and began chasing and lunging at the sides of the truck, which we have heard from a handful of.
Yeah, this echoes a number
Different
of strange
cryptids.
encounters.
I've seen what my uncle told me was the Beaman legend. I haven't heard anyone speak of it since I was little. It wasn't quite animalistic. It was hard to explain unless you've seen it.
Weird. Very weird.
He further spoke of later finding a mauled pig that had no tracks or normal animals around it, and a shadowy figure lurking in the woods.
That would be your monster right there.
I think something we're not talking about at all with a lot of these maulings and stuff that I think might explain the lack of tracks. Because let's say it's not aliens, you know, like maybe Chupacabra has a more earthly method or something like that, but these creatures probably have
You think it's
go on.
maybe just poor ass hungry kids who are
No,
real good
because
about covering it up.
because poverty kids who are hungry do not cover their tracks. They get too full and relaxed after their meal and they forget. These are monsters with an incredible vertical leap. I'm talking like NBA Jam style leaps. Like they're leaping from half court onto the monster, draining it of blood or mauling it, then doing another fire-induced spiral dunk another 50 yards away,
Sure.
leaving no tracks.
Real monster.
That
monster
sounded
hunter
stupid and as a joke, but I swear that is what I mean. Like, what if these creatures are like doing some incredible leaps?
shit. Yeah.
They own the key.
There you go.
But no one talks about that. Like, everyone's all like, you have to run towards it. But like, many creatures do leaping for kills, you know, like cover a lot of ground in the air.
They love to leap.
Look
Ladies-
towards the trees, people.
Ladies leap. Cool J.
There's another account from also a child.
Nice.
A guy by the name of Steve Mallard when he was 12.
They say truth comes from the mouth of babes.
Who said that?
I don't know.
He and a friend were digging worms behind the barn near the Smithton.
Me and cross-eyed Eli was digging worms.
They were planning to go fishing and wanted, quote, a big mess of worms.
I knew it. I knew cross-eyed Eli was involved in this. Nothing wrong with being cross-eyed. I'm sorry.
Since it was early morning, the dew was still glistening on the grass. They saw a spot in the dew where it looked like a deer or something had laid down. Then they noticed the footprints in the dew. There were these huge footprints. We followed them down to the pond and just got spooked. They were so big we couldn't stride that far apart. Mallard remembers this incident vividly, and after gaining education in Native American lore, he truly believes that the Beaman monster could certainly exist. So yeah, the Beaman monster, is it a Bigfoot in Kansas or possibly a 12-foot gorilla that fucked a wolf?
Look, we've all seen the end of trading spaces. We know that trading places. Sorry, we know that.
And trading spaces. It's
gorillas.
That's how the reality show ends.
That gorillas, if you get trapped alone with them in a space, they're gonna want to fuck. It's an unfortunate truth shown to us by most of comedy from, let's say, the 60s on, until a point when we were like, maybe we should stop making movies where a dude gets fucked by a gorilla. Huh? I don't know if that's saying what we want it to say.
It's comedy gold. It's something that's worked in the past. It's something that will work in the future. The kids are screaming
it's a
for
little,
it.
It seems aggressive. I don't know that it's putting gorillas in a particularly flattering light. And beyond that, it's false. They don't do that.
And it's making...
It happened to me at the zoo. I don't think it did, sir.
Sort of making a monkey out of Al Franken.
Carry on, damn you.
I think that's all I have to say about the Beaman monster.
Bravo.
That would rule if that was... That's a game show I would watch. Make a monkey out of Al Franken.
And it's like literal, like you gotta catch them, glue gloves on them.
Yeah, no.
Yes.
Exactly. I was having the exact same.
Al Franken's all greased up and shit.
Great minds, my dude. Great minds.
All right. Well, no one's gonna top a new Werewolf Radar original game show on Fox.
Stay tuned for Ape Fuck.
Starring Al Franken.
What will an ape fuck? More importantly, what won't he? Weekends on ABC Family.
I've been going through all the holiday gifts. And I was thinking I should start using some. And of course, because of the podcast, my family loves giving me Ouija boards.
Yeah.
I got about 600 Ouija boards right now.
Wait a minute, are you about to Ouija on the air?
No. I refuse to,
sir.
I refuse to open any of them.
Are you gonna be Ouijing the Jews?
No.
Yes.
No.
Good.
But it got me thinking, and you know what? Other people have used their Ouija boards. Let me see what they've been experiencing. So I went to
Ouija tales.
I went to the R Paranormal and I looked up the best Ouija tales I could find.
Roger, now that's a segment.
It is.
No shade. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of gorilla fucking a wolf in it, but let's stay tuned.
So let's start with, I think, out of 4, the top 4th one with,
Let's start with one where the cucumber and the carrot play with the planchette. It's Ouija Tales. It's Veggie Tales.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
Okay.
That's very funny. What do you mean we've already met before?
So this is the 4th most upvoted post on a post on the Reddit called Best Ouija Board Tales from 2 weeks ago, and goes as such.
Ooh.
This was 1995 or 6.
Ah!
Oh, it's a good year for getting possessed.
It was about 2 weeks after Christmas. It had been a difficult time for my family financially. So the Christmas gifts were small.
What are you getting for Christmas? Critical hits, unlockable skins of your family.
All right, listen, everyone. Everyone listening right now, do we chip in $5 and get this video game developed? Christmas.
We start a new tabletop, a TTRPG called Christmas, which is, you know what it is. It's Santa and Jesus and the Hanukkah goblin and the
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't think of any others. And the rest.
And the rest of their friends. So it's Christmas. It was a not a bad time, but a small gift time for Christmas.
Everyone's a blue Christmas, perhaps.
Yeah, everyone's still loving each other. They're giving what they can, and feelings and love are high. At the time, at my local music store, they were selling a Ernie Ball brand guitar string for $10 for 2 sets. That's perfect really gift for a guitar player.
Pretty
really good.
Solid.
So that is what I asked for and received 4 gifts. This info is pertinent to the story. Everyone remember what they received.
I assumed it was. I didn't think you were just bragging about your fucking sweet new 2-pack of Ernie Balls.
I was 19 or 20, and we as a family took a trip to Indiana to visit other family members. During our visit there, we were invited to the neighbor's house for a party and get together. I walked next door to see what was going on and entered the kitchen to find 2 to 8 people using a Ouija board. On Christmas.
That's a bit of a spread.
2 to 8 people? We're gonna let this slide, obviously, because we don't have the time necessary to rip on this person for this, which is not what we're doing. Thank you for sharing.
And that is my mistake. I apologize. Idiot. I read that wrong, so you can rip on me all you want. But what a fun image we had.
Yeah, get him.
I walked next door to see what was going on and entered the kitchen to find 2 of the 8 people or so using a Ouija board.
I see.
They were asking questions. The planchette was moving. I found it all amusing. On a whim, I said to the people, "Ask it what I got for Christmas."
New wave song.
They asked, and the planchette moving, it moved in an oval and slid to and fro to spell STGS.
STDs.
STGS. The author on that was very impressed because they assume it meant
Sound Tribe gesture sign.
They thought it was spelling out strings, missing 2 of the letters possibly.
Okay. I can see that.
You can see that one?
Sure, of course.
Okay. That one was
go on that
given
walk.
some credit for their experience, and thank you for sharing. The real lost soul.
Oh, yikes.
They got a lot of karma.
Dang. I'll say have to be if you're a lost.
We should probably announce their power level too. They have a Reddit power level of 1,537.
Is that a lot?
I don't know.
Oh.
We're gonna find out. I'm gonna start when we do Reddit stories. We should announce their power level.
Yeah,
what is that in Dragon Ball?
I think it's a direct conversion.
So 1-to-1 off of Reddit. Okay.
Yeah. So they're far from like Goku season 2. Maybe Goku as a child power level, but not like adult Goku. Especially not when after the hyperbolic time chamber. This next story from Big B-2702 with a power level of 15,215. We are in some Saiyan territory.
Yeah, I feel like they can go toe-to-toe with Piccolo.
Yeah.
I can't see my power level here, and it's messing with me. I'm looking at the app. Maybe it's a thing that's specific to that subreddit.
It's a comment karma.
Oh no,
That's-
the karma is independent from the power level. I thought that's what we were talking about. Whatever.
No, I'm using power level from their comment karma, like their PvP. Not
Oh,
the post,
shit.
but like when they go in and fight.
Please. Mine's 20,000.
Oh, someone might be going Saiyan soon.
Yeah, insane. Should go
So
outside.
from Big B 2702, sure, they can be used solely for entertainment, but they are not a toy. Me and my cousins have had some disturbing incidences with them.
Oh,
You have to ask questions that the users do not or cannot know the answer to. And you have to look at
interesting.
the
That's
answers
a good point.
and give it subjectively. You have to look at the answers it gives subjectively. It is also inadvisable to antagonize the board,
Yeah.
which we foolishly did on one occasion. We were asking simple questions,
You fool.
not trying to summon anyone's dead relatives. That's a good way to contact someone you don't want. Don't is capitalized. But you warm up the board and get the planchette rotating. Then spectators ask questions, not the users. Then wait for an answer. Maybe that's what I've always done wrong. I've always been in the circle asking questions, and that's not what it wants. This particular
You gotta ask from the outside.
Yeah, you gotta ask from the outside. He says, Big B says, then spectators ask a question, not the users. This particular evening, we kept getting an entity that would spew nothing but obscenities. We were only looking for the name of who was trying to contact us. We tried getting rid of it, but it kept coming back, blocking anyone else. So we banged the planchette on the board and told it to carry its ass.
Nice.
That was the wrong thing to do.
Uh-oh.
It started whirling around the board so fast we could hardly hang on to it. So I told my cousin to hold down on the board, and we did, and it started to vibrate. So I told her, okay, when I now say take your hands off the board, do it. We did, and the planchette flew across the room on its own accord, directly towards another person in the room who was a devout Catholic.
Frightening.
He was so rattled, he left and never came back.
Wow.
This is 100% true.
Well,
it's not
you shattered
something
a young
we
man's faith. Or galvanized it, perhaps.
You also made the party a little better. I mean,
Dude, I'm talking about that party forever.
Yeah. That's a pretty hot party.
Okay, this next one is technically higher, but it's shorter, so we're going to end on a beefy one. From Bumblebee Blushy, whose power level is unimaginable.
That's unimaginable.
1,297. My granddad was the most stoic, sensible man I've ever met, and he didn't have any religious or spiritual beliefs. Once he told me that my mom and aunt were let me say that again. He once told me that when my mom and aunt were young, around 11 or 12, they brought a Ouija board home and started asking it questions in the living room using a glass in place of the planchette. He wasn't concerned and nothing unusual happened. Then my aunt asked if Jesus existed, and my granddad swore that the glass shot over 6 feet across the room and smashed into the wall without either my mom or aunt moving at all. He gathered up the pieces and the board and threw them out back in the field.
That's pretty fucking crazy.
That one I believe more than anything. That sounds exactly like my grandpa. Just, I don't believe in nothing. Oh, I saw something. You know what? Out to the field with you.
Yep. Wild. That's pretty crazy.
Here's some extra to it. He told me never to use one, and I followed every piece of advice he'd ever given me, so I never touched one myself. It was the only spiritual or paranormal thing he ever mentioned to me until just before he died. And then he just went off. He's all like, I've seen the gnomes. They're cobbling shoes in your closet.
I've seen the gnomes. You don't let them in, pour salt around the place. I've seen the Ouija board. Don't ever use it.
All right, here we go. The last one to wrap up this episode.
I am a wereweevil.
From Noodle to the Nines with 312 credit karma. My roommate in college and I used a Ouija board occasionally and had some funny, interesting interactions. For context, our college was in a small town called St. Mary's City, which was originally the capital of Maryland. From 1630 to 1694. There's obviously a lot of colonial/early American history to be found here. I never really believed in spirits before college, but some of the messages we got were so peculiar and unique that I started to believe. I've always been curious to know more mundane things about the spirits. That's kind of me. Like, I don't want to know the big things. I want to know mundane things. Like, what do spirits eat when they're sad?
How do you poop?
Her examples are, can they watch TV or read newspapers over our shoulder?
Can they?
To keep up with history? Are they aware of time passing? Do they interact with the living? Noodle to the Nines, I got a podcast for you to where we ask those questions.
You gotta join us.
Once I asked a random spirit we were talking to what they do all day when they're not interacting with the living, and it said see, S-E-E, which I thought was really interesting. Like, obviously, if it had said watch, that would have been kind of spooky. But see is such an active word to use, and it shows that they're still taking advantage of the senses they do. Okay, that's a lot of philosophical thought that I maybe don't agree with wholeheartedly. Another time, we were talking to a spirit that was given really succinct answers and spelling out her full name. Alice Zimmerman was the name, and ranges of years when she lived were 1940 to 1950. That's when she lived in the area. Sorry, she didn't die as a child. Out of curiosity, we looked up the name and years she gave us, and we found that she had been a math professor at the college in the 1940s.
Crazy.
Neither myself or my roommate were math majors, and we rarely interacted with the math department. So there's no way we could have known that.
Wild.
The last story I'll share.
That's so wild.
Right?
That's like yeah. That's really crazy. That's imagine being a math teacher dying and being like, uh-oh. So I guess science, oh boy. So am I a ghost or? I don't know. That just seems like a very interesting story to me for some reason.
It's one where science is obviously open to the idea, but colloquially, science is a big, I think, shorthand for it is not believing in an afterlife and then dying as a scientist and going, oh, I guess I was wrong, huh?
Yeah.
Well, this non-Euclidean geometry is turning out to be a real thing.
I think
a real eye opener.
I'm living in the witch house.
I think a fun one would be a mathematician who deals with a lot of theory about how the world works dies and then sees all the non-Euclidean theory and goes, God damn it, he was right, and then curses out the name of his rival who had the correct theory.
Curse you, non-Euclid. Curse you.
Okay, so this is the last story I'll share. Is one people don't often believe, but I swear it happened. I'm a white female, and my roommate was a Caribbean African female. Everyone.
See, now I'm not sure if it is pertinent or not.
So sometimes when we interacted with spirits from earlier eras, we would run into some racism and distrust. Interesting. You keep that hate, it seems. Sometimes spirits would only want to interact with her, and sometimes they'd only want to interact with me. This one time we were talking with a female spirit who didn't really respond to me, and when my roommate asked her why, she said, white. Ooh. My roommate thought this was pretty funny and explained that I was cool, and the racial issues had gotten somewhat better in the years since her passing.
This is going so hard and explaining that you have a black friend.
I mentioned that we had a black president. This was like this was 2017. And I kid you not, this really intense era of excitement filled the room. And it kind of reminded me of those viral videos where a kid had gotten into their dream college that they're jumping up and down because they were so happy. It was that strong.
Huh.
My roommate was like, you didn't know? And the spirit responded, no. Before they stopped responding altogether. A few weeks before this interaction, some anthropology students at our school discovered there had been a slave quarters on our campus at one time, right near where our dorm was. Whoa. Anyway, that's one of their favorite Ouija stories, and one to wrap up my segment, which I am going to call I have a black friend and we play Ouija together.
This is a great idea for a segment. I hope we return to Ouija tales, because while I do fear the process of the Ouija board, yeah, that's right, I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid of it because I don't know the repercussions, and that's a natural, okay response.
Stefan,
I do like to hear about people who did it themselves.
Stefan Williamson and I played with one for our little show, and he said he saw dark figures behind him, so he burned and drowned the book, according to a Native American man featured on I think I don't know, one of the many ghost shows where it tells their story, and you soak it in water and then you burn it. It's a whole process. Myself,
I remember
good.
Something about running water being part of it, running it underwater.
Yeah, it takes the energy away.
Part of the process of cleansing that situation. Folks, that does it for another episode of Werewolf Radar. Thank you so much for your continued support of our show. If this is your first time listening to the show, it's always like this. It's always like this. Get used to it. If you really liked it, go to patreon.com/werewolf radar, and you can become a Patreon member. You can help us sponsor the show with a small financial donation, and we would really appreciate it. In exchange, you get an extra episode every week. You get treats and tricks and traps here and there on our Patreon page. And you get to come hang out with us in the Zoom room, much like Cheesebot is doing just now. Shout out Cheesebot while we record this show.
And I would like to say
shout out
thank
to
you,
Chuck from Snappy Little Numbers
Chuck,
for our intro and outro song, and shout out to you, the listener. Yeah.
And thank you all of the new listeners. Our numbers, we're doing over crypto numbers.
Hey,
so cryptocurrency gets, if you break 100 episodes, you're a success. 100 views, you're a success.
Hell yeah.
And our past few videos have all broken 100 in a week.
Get the hell out of here.
And one of them broke 300.
Oh boy. So to you, loyal 100, you will earn a place of honor in the dark future we envision. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Werewolf Radar. Please join us in our sign-off line. We'll see you next week on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Punch the sky,
Spaceman Joe.